we're going to sit down and talk for quite a while before we even get to this thing. First of all, I think you notice that I am situated well and far away from the other end of the hallway, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This is called the Polygraph unit.
Yes, yes.
And I just want you to know right off the bat that we are an objective arm of the police department.
Yes.
That's why they have us tucked away in a little corner all by ourselves.
You're the only one I trust here.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's why I'm tucked away in a little hiding hole all by myself.
I'm going to need my jacket. It's too cold in here. My jacket's on the floor back there.
Okay.
You want to send somebody?
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
And I just want you to know we are an objective arm of the police department.
Exactly.
I don't work for any particular unit. I do work for the entire department, all the investigations units.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And therefore, I really don't know that much about your case.
Okay.
So they only contacted me today to ask me to stand by to help you with this.
Okay.
So right now, I want to let you know, because this is a police facility, everything is being recorded,
Right.
audio,
Right,
video
right.
recorded. You know and understand that.
Sure.
Okay? All right, let me go ask somebody to get your jacket for you.
Thank you.
Look at that, you got house slippers on.
Yeah, right.
Who wants this jacket? It's crazy. Okay. So,
Yeah, I only want to ask one thing. They're investigating the murder of a little girl. I want the questions to stay with there. I don't want fishing questions.
okay. Hold on a sec here. Before we go any farther,
Yeah.
I just have to finish some administrative procedures.
Okay, go.
Okay? Because I am a Seattle police detective, I am obliged to read you your Miranda rights.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, before we do anything further,
Yeah.
write my pen here. You are Jack Daniel McCullough, correct?
Correct.
All right. Here's your explanation of your constitutional rights. Before questioning and the making of any statement, I, Jack D. McCullough, have been advised by Detective Lau of the following rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in the court of law. You have the right at this time to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Now, so you understand your Miranda rights?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this doesn't apply to you because you're not obviously under the age of 18 anymore. Okay? So, this next portion here is a polygraph exam statement of consent.
Okay.
Detective Lau, the polygraph examiner for the Seattle Police Department, has explained to me that this exam is being conducted concerning a homicide.
Right.
It has been further explained to me that I cannot be required to submit to a polygraph exam without my consent.
Yeah.
Understanding that I have an unqualified right to refuse, I, Jack D. McCullough, do hereby this date, freely and voluntarily, without threats or promises of any kind, agree to submit myself to a polygraph exam.
Good.
So, are you freely
Yes.
willing
Yes.
to do this?
Yes.
Okay. So then I need your signature right here
Sure.
that you understand Miranda and that you are agreeing to take the polygraph. Thank you. Okay.
Now, this is the second polygraph I've taken on this. First one was by the FBI, and I passed it.
When was that?
It was in 1957, I believe.
Okay.
And I'm going to pass this one as well, as long as you stay on the subject of the little girl and her murder.
Well, quite frankly, Jack,
I
there's some questions
know there's some questions you have to
need
ask
you.
for verification. I understand that.
Well, actually, I'm going to ask you some questions about the details of your personal life.
Then I'm
some
going
of
to
them-
stop answering.
Well, here, just hear me out, okay?
Right.
Really, we're not so much interested in that, but I need to ask you some detailed personal things about your life. Some of it can be pretty sensitive, but I need them in order to structure your question. It really is in your best benefit to answer them. in order for this thing to work.
I understand you have to make a verifications, and you have to set your machine up. I understand. But you've read me my rights, and my rights are I don't have to say anything if I don't want to.
Right.
And so if I don't answer you,
but it's not going to be pertaining to what you're allegedly accused of. I'm going to ask you some questions about your personal history and so on and so forth that might make you, that are a little bit sensitive.
Then we're done.
Well, why don't we just go ahead with the interview and see if you don't like them.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
All right. So I want this to be fair and objective for you, okay? Because remember, I don't work for any particular union. I don't work for these guys. I don't work for anybody, okay? So all we're after is the truth here.
Yeah.
Why don't we start this whole thing and backpedal, okay? Because I came into this late in the game. Why are you here?
Exactly. I don't know why I'm here. I'm here because the FBI did not do a good job.
Well, let's back up even further than that. What are they alleging that you did?
Murder a little girl.
Okay. When?
In 1957.
Okay.
And
what part of the year?
I don't even remember.
Late December or something like that.
Oh, I do remember.
December the 3rd.
Yes, it was December. That's right. Because right after them I went to service.
Okay.
And and I went in the Air Force. Yeah.
Okay. And why did they think that you murdered this little girl?
I fit the description of the person.
Okay. And what is this little girl's name?
Maria Ridulph.
Okay.
And she was a loved little girl. She was a little Mexican girl about this high.
Was the last name like, what did you say?
Ridulph.
Okay.
It was, I think the mother was Mexican, the father was...
so she was biracial.
Yeah.
They make the most beautiful kids.
Oh man, she was just an adorable little girl. Great big brown eyes, and everybody in the neighborhood loved her. She had older sisters that were much older than her, and the whole family was just so devastated. I think the mother and father even divorced afterwards, which is normal.
Yeah. Why do you think it's normal?
It is.
Is it?
Yes. A lot of people that when there's a tragedy in their family that's that dramatic, they can't handle it.
Has anything like that ever happened to you?
No.
No? No tragedies in your family?
Not that fit this scenario, no.
You don't want to talk about it? Any tragedies that happen in your life?
Yeah, I've got tragedies in my life, but I'm talking about husband and wife when one of the children is taken away from them. It's great stress, and very often they can't handle it, and they go their separate ways. That's just generalization on my part.
Yeah, I get you. So what do you think if they ever catch up to this person that did it? What do you think should happen?
I just gave them the name.
What do you think should happen to them?
He should be strung up. He should get the electric chair.
Wow.
Yes. Well, absolutely. This little child would have grown up to be a beautiful woman and had children. And it's horrible.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And I only heard that she was found in the woods somewhere far away from the town. I don't know.
North, east,
I
west.
don't know. I heard south, but I don't know.
Yeah.
They mushroom hunters found it. But then again, there was a question about
how long after did they discover the
body? It must have been a long time, because I came back years later and found out that she had been recovered. But there was a big question as to whether this story was true, because it wasn't mushroom hunting sees them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably just people looking for an excuse to be in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
But
do you think those guys were fitting then?
I don't know.
Or the reason why they were in the woods? You said they were mushroom hunting?
Yeah, there was, I think it was in the paper maybe, that there was a question why these people were in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and they said they were mushroom hunting.
Yeah.
And some people that I
When
spoke.
is mushroom hunting season anyway?
I don't know. It's when is it?
I have no idea. I never pick mushrooms myself.
Yeah,
Isn't that generally in the fall?
Probably.
Yeah.
It has to be moist, doesn't it? Moist time.
Yeah, one has to be there. So.
But anyway, that's all I know about that. I don't, if they ever find them, the punishment can't be enough. But then again, how old is that person going to be now? They're going to be my age or older.
Yeah. So you think they should be strung up?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
She needs justice.
Mm-hmm.
They can't bring her back.
Yeah. So how come you never moved back to Sycamore?
You live here? You ever been to Illinois?
Mm-mm. I heard they got great steaks though.
They got great corns. They got a wonderful soil,
Mm-hmm.
deep, loam, black, 2 feet deep,
Wow.
black loam soil.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very flat,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing to see but corn. You can drive for 100 miles, and there's nothing to see but corn. It's like going down a hallway.
Mm-hmm.
But it's too muggy. It's in the summertime. The winters are too cold, and the snow is too deep. All of those things.
So how did you find Seattle?
I was stationed at Fort
Lewis or something?
Lewis. Yeah, Fort Lewis.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it seems to bring a lot of military people here.
And I got out of service here and just never left.
Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Our state got so popular.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you've ever been to Illinois, they don't have a mountain. They got one hill in the States, 150 feet high. That's it.
I know.
It's called Starved Rock.
I know.
And the here has everything. It has the oceans, the sound, the trees, the mountains, and I got 20 acres on the other side of the mountain.
Good deal. Good deal. Okay. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Where were you born?
I was born in Belfast, Ireland.
Okay.
Came over here in 1946. I was about the age of 7.
Mm-hmm.
I was a.
Did your parents move you here?
Yeah. Well, my mother married a soldier,
Mm-hmm.
an airman at the time, Army Air Corps,
Mm-hmm.
which was my stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
And they
wow, that's pretty amazing. You got. Did your mother divorce in Ireland?
No, there was no divorce. My father.
Right, I didn't think so.
My father left when I was 3. She probably lied to me and told me that he was killed in the war.
Okay.
But the war wasn't going on in 1939, except in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so she joined the British Army. She was a corporal in the RAF.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she met my stepdad, who was a staff sergeant in the Army Air Corps.
U.S. Army?
Huh?
The Army Air Corps?
Yes.
Okay.
And
after the war, you guys came over here?
Yeah. I came over in the Queen Mary, the same one that's down in California right now.
Neat.
Yeah. And I was a very immature child at that time because I didn't meet another child until I was almost 7.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't meet
Really?
another child until I was almost 7.
When did you move? When you were 7, right?
Yeah.
So,
Just before I came over.
Why do you think that is?
Oh, because of the war. I was mother put me out on a farm away from the.
But you said the war hadn't started yet, right?
No, we're talking about a different time now.
Okay.
When I was 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 7 years old, the war had been going on since I was like 5, and she put me out to live on a farm. That's what they did with all their children, so they wouldn't get blown up in the city.
I know. I've seen a lot of masterpiece theaters about that.
Yeah. Well, it's true.
Yeah.
And the family, they cared for me, but they didn't, raise me. They just.
Right. They were fostering you, basically.
Yeah. But anyway.
So you came to America eventually.
Yeah. And I lived in a little Sycamore, Illinois, which is a wonderful town.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Mayberry. It's just a
very nice.
Sweet little town.
What was the population?
Absolutely. It was 5,000 when I was growing up, and it was probably like 25,000 now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I went to grade school, Catholic grade school, and grew up. And I went to high school. I got expelled from high school because I insulted a teacher. And then life began.
Did you get into any more trouble when you were still?
I wasn't never in trouble. I was a good kid. But it was time for lunch,
mm-hmm.
and all the kids wanted to go to lunch really quick, and we were close to the lunchroom. Well, I got up a little too quick, and the teacher pushed me back.
Mm-hmm.
Which she shouldn't have done, but my reaction was I called her a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
And that got me expelled.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I worked for a while, and finally when I became 17, I joined the service, and it was a good move. I enjoyed.
Why don't we stop right there?
Yeah.
When you joined the service,
yeah.
How was joining the service?
I floundered my first 4 years. I really floundered. I didn't make any rank. I did go to Japan and enjoyed the heck out of that.
Well, why don't we just go back to the day in question that we're talking about,
Yeah.
which is December 3rd, the day Maria disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay. Where were you?
I was in the Army Induction Center. Well, I was going into the Air Force, but the Induction Center in Chicago, 60 miles away.
And when did you go there?
I spent most of the day there.
Which day did you go?
The day she was kidnapped.
Okay. So you didn't go the day before or anything like that?
I might have gone to Rockford and done testing and stuff like that.
Just testing at Rockford?
Yeah.
Not in Chicago?
That's where you enlist.
Mm-hmm.
You enlisted, or that's where I enlisted in Rockford.
Mm-hmm.
Which is about 30 miles away from Sycamore.
How does one get to Rockford anyway, back in the day?
I don't think I drove because I was going to take the train, so maybe somebody took me, or I hitchhiked, I don't know.
You mean a young man at that age doesn't have a car?
I had a car, but I was going in service, so I sold it.
Oh, so you didn't think you were, coming back?
I was probably not going to see that car again.
Mm-hmm.
And I just joined for 4 years, so I didn't plan on coming back.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cramp in my leg. All right.
So, what day did you go to Rockford?
We're talking a long time ago. I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
What day did you get inducted in?
All I remember is the day Maria was kidnapped.
Which was December the 3rd?
That's the day I was in Chicago.
I thought you go through induction in Rockford.
There's no induction.
Okay, so what happens in Rockford?
The induction center is in Chicago.
Okay.
The enlisting center
is in Rockford.
Yes. Okay. So I spent the entire day there, and that can be easily verified because they were looking. They were taking all kinds of blood tests and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So every minute of my day.
So is there like a train that leaves your little town that goes to Rockford?
No. I think the train goes from, well, my little town, there's no train between my little town and Rockford.
Okay. So, but from Rockford to Chicago there is?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anyway, it was shortly thereafter I left. But the FBI did want to talk to me. I talked to them. They gave me an FBI guy to ride around and show me places. He was a great guy. I really enjoyed him. And they took me out to a motel to give me the lie detector test.
Wait. We're leaving out certain parts of the story. What happened once you went to Chicago? How did you get inducted? What happens? I've never been in the service.
Okay, when you, it's all a big medical thing all day long.
So, okay, so the Elizabeth Center is in Rockford.
That's where you sign the paper.
And then they ship you off to Chicago?
Exactly. That's where the induction center is. That's where all the tests are done on you.
Okay, medical tests and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So what happened when you got to the induction center?
I spent the entire day there, and they were, taking all kinds of tests and spread your cheeks and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a long day.
Yeah. Okay. So did they take you right away, or what?
No, I didn't leave from there. I think I went back home, and so I don't know how I traveled at that time. I probably traveled by train because I wouldn't take my car to Chicago. It's too weird.
Oh yeah, I was scared too.
Oh
huh?
yeah, and I was
in a strange big city like
I
that.
was just 17 years old.
Exactly.
And anyway, and I don't know how I got from Rockford to Sycamore, but I thought I called and got a ride from my family, but they say my dad was doing something else, so I don't know. If I had hitchhiked back and forth between Rockford and Chicago because I had a girlfriend there at one time who I later married, but I didn't know her then.
Mm-hmm. So you think you got back by hitchhiking?
I don't know. It's 1957. How old is that? 57, 67, 77, 87, 97. That's 50 years ago. What do you remember from 50 years ago? I don't know.
I was in swaddling clothes.
Yeah. Anyway. When I got back, I found out that Maria was kidnapped.
When did you get back?
Probably the next day, and I don't know. They say I stayed overnight somewhere. I don't know, but
so that would put you.
But anyway,
having gone up there on the 2nd, December the 2nd, because Maria was kidnapped on the 3rd.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have been there all day the 3rd and stayed overnight or taken the train. I don't know. But I know all I remember is a very long day. And
so was there not a big hubbub when you came back and found out that she was gone?
I was just told about it, and Mom asked me if I wanted to go and help look for her. The whole town was filled.
How long were they doing that?
For, I don't know, probably a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And
so
I just joined a bunch of people that were looking, and we went to DeKalb and looked in some farms.
And what day was that when you got back?
50 years. Don't know.
You can't remember when you came back?
No.
Was it the day she was taken, or?
Don't remember. And I'm not trying to avoid your conversation here, but I just don't remember.
Okay.
Fair enough. Later on, the FBI wanted to talk to me, and my mom was in tears because she didn't want me even to go and talk to him. I said, don't worry about it. They're going to give me a lie detector test. That'll clear the air, and it'll be all done with. Which exactly what happened.
I had heard that some of your family members said you came back on the same day Maria was taken.
May have.
May or may not have.
May or may not have.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know.
Were you in the area?
It had to been after, because somebody told me she was kidnapped. So it had to have been after 6 o'clock. So, I mean, and it had to have been long after 6 o'clock.
That you got back?
Yeah, because they told me that she had been kidnapped, and if she was kidnapped at 6 o'clock, they would have had to. Some time would have had to have passed.
So when do you think you helped look around for her?
Well, probably the next day or two.
So is it fair to say then that you weren't there? Are you telling me then that you weren't there on the evening that she was taken?
Yeah. And if I made a call from Rockford's 30 miles away, and I had to wait for a ride, ta-da, 6 o'clock.
Who gave you a ride?
Don't know.
Did you call anybody? How would anyone know to give you a ride?
There's a phone call. I made a 2-minute phone call from Rockford.
Oh, really?
It's in the record.
To who?
To my family, I assume.
What time?
Don't know. But they say the phone record says 7 o'clock. If I called from Rockford at 7 o'clock, if I took a train to Rockford and called from Rockford at 7 o'clock for somebody to come and help me get home, guess what? There's no way I was even in town. Everybody in the neighborhood knows me.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody saw me, they would say, that's Johnny. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And she's only 2.5 blocks away from my house.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the neighborhood knew me.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody saw me, they wouldn't have said a person of that description. They would have said Johnny. Anyway,
It'd be kind of dark out though, wouldn't it?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock at night in December.
Summertime? Or was it December? I don't know.
Yeah, it was in December. December 3rd.
Then
I think there was a little bit of snowfall too.
I don't know snow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, why don't we? So basically, you're telling me that you have absolutely no knowledge of this.
Absolutely.
You have no knowledge about Maria's abduction.
I have no knowledge of her abduction other than what I was told.
You did not stop and talk and play with Maria.
Oh no! She was a child.
Or Kathy.
No.
Well, so what?
No.
You know, and kids play with other kids.
Yeah. I was 17 years old. She was just talking.
Yeah, so what?
Yeah, right. So what? I don't play with little children.
Not even your own brothers and sisters?
No, not that age.
Oh, what kind of older brother are you anyway?
All right.
So you did not stop and play with him?
Of course not.
You did not take Maria?
I did not.
You did not?
Look at my face. I did not.
You did not?
I loved that little girl like the whole neighborhood loved that little girl.
How well did you know her?
I didn't know her well at all. I only know her to see her now and then walking around near her house. She never went more than a half a block away from her house. I knew the family. I had played with her sisters, and they were actors. And we're always putting on a show in their backyard.
So you never abducted her?
No.
Sexually assaulted
her?
Killed her?
Killed her? No.
Okay.
God, how am I going to get anywhere to believe this?
Well, that's why you're here, right?
Yeah, right.
You want to move forward from this,
right? Right.
Okay. All right. So
put me on a machine and ask me the same questions. It's the same answer is going to come out.
Okay, I will do that.
All right.
But in the meantime, I got to ask you a few other questions about your personal life, okay?
Yeah.
How old were you when you lost your virginity?
I was 20.
20? Wow.
Yeah.
Who with?
With an older woman down in South Carolina after I joined the Air Force.
Have you ever had sex with underage girls?
No.
No?
No.
Not with your sisters?
No.
Well, from what I heard, your sisters have said you've had sexual contact with them. And you know what sexual contact means in this context?
Hands.
Hands, fondling, kissing, touching, penetrating.
No.
Nothing?
No.
Taking someone's clothes off for sexual reasons?
No.
All of those things for sexual reasons?
No.
So you have not done any of that?
Correct.
Okay. Have you ever had child porn?
No.
Against the law?
Sure.
You know, in the state of Washington, it's a felony to possess child pornography.
Yes.
Do you know what child pornography is?
Yes.
Explain to me what child pornography is.
It's pictures of children playing with each other having sex.
Okay. Have you ever committed any sex crimes that you haven't been caught for?
No.
What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you in your life?
Vietnam.
Really? Did you go to Vietnam?
Yeah. I just told you.
Did you have sex with younger women there?
No.
You know,
I didn't have sex at all in Vietnam.
So young.
I didn't have sex at all in Vietnam.
Why not?
I was an infantry officer.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means a lot if you're in the infantry and you're not in the rear. You're in the front, getting shot at.
You're not in the front the whole time, though. You got to have had some lead time.
You don't know anything about my life in there. In the infantry, you're either on patrol out in the mountains or you're back at the fire base.
Mm-hmm.
2 places.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Fire base is not a city. Fire base is a large military complex.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
certainly you went on leave, though.
I went on leave to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened there?
I bought a girl.
Okay. So
and she was a bar girl, and she wasn't a child.
How do you know? You know, a lot of times these girls are underage. You know, these girls nowadays
she was not
like
underage.
they're 25.
She was not. She was a beautiful woman, and she worked in a bar.
Yeah.
And I paid the mama san to let her free and spent the day with her.
Have you ever had sex with a male?
I haven't had sex with a male.
Have you had sexual contact with a male?
We're done with that.
I take that as an
Go take anyone you want. We're done.
With that particular question?
Yes.
Okay. Why? I mean, you're really sensitive about.
What's it got to do with the little girl?
I'm trying to ask questions to help structure your test. It has no bearing on crimes, this, that, or the other thing. I'm trying to help you as best I can.
You're not helping me.
I'm trying to help you by structuring the test as best I can.
Okay.
Have you ever had sex with a man?
We're done with that.
Okay. Do you have any photographs of underage males?
No.
Any photographs
I don't have any photographs, period.
of any
Period.
underage girls.
Period. No photographs, period.
No magazines.
No magazine.
No nothing. No porn.
No porn.
Nothing.
Right.
Okay. Okay. All right. Why don't we just go ahead and run your test now? Okay. So let me just type it in here. Then we're going to review the questions. Okay. Let's see. Okay.
I'm really disappointed. I gave them the name of the person who may have done this.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you did, because I'll look into it.
They better. But the first detective I told it to didn't even write it down. I gave him the name.
Well, I'm sure these two wrote it down. I saw you scribbling on that notepad. So.
The tall guy. Yeah.
You know, I'm sure they'll look into it.
They better.
Okay, so.
Because it just all fell into place all of a sudden one day. I had a dream, and then I woke up and I thought, that's him.
And why would you think that?
Because the children.
Well, first of all, why don't you tell me about this dream? When did you have this dream?
Whenever it was that I called the FBI, and they got that date.
Okay. Way back when?
No, this was within the past year.
Oh, you called the FBI?
Yeah.
Why did you call the FBI?
To tell them the name.
Okay.
And I want her justice.
Don't you think that's kind of odd to just have a dream out of a dream like that after so many years?
Yes, it's odd. So what?
Okay, maybe you're clairvoyant.
That'd be good.
Which might be a good thing.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
But if it's him, I want them to get him, and I want him hung.
Now, I heard you mentioning two names. Why do you think it's just one? Or do you think both?
No. Don Davies and Ken Davies. I couldn't think of the Ken Davies name, so I gave them that. They're brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a guy lived with them whose name was Brooks. I don't know if that was the first name or the last name. I'm assuming it's the last name, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was I was playing with some kids in the school grounds near my house, and one of the kids said, "You see that guy there?" And I said, "Yeah, that's Brooks." He said, "He talks to kids about sex."
How old were you then?
I don't remember, but I think.
Were you 12, 13?
I don't remember when I had the conversation. It was. It was before Maria, so it had to have been. I'm thinking maybe I was 13, 14. But don't know for sure. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is a long time ago. Anyway, so he points to him, and I look at him, and I said, "Yeah." And it was kind of something. It was something glassy about his eyes, you know. And I thought, he looks like a creep, you know. And so I'm just saying it. I just had that feeling. But it was later on when I got to thinking, that the Davies lived 2 blocks away from Maria on the same street.
How far was your home from?
I was here's the street they live on. They lived here. Maria lived there. Then there was a Sutter Cross Street, which I lived on, and then 2 blocks, and I lived here. Mm-hmm. So everybody in that neighborhood knew me.
So who do you think did it? Brooks, Don?
I think Brooks did it.
Yeah. All because he has that funny glint in his eye?
No. He was a weird kid.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody liked him. And
well, those are hardly indicative of having
no.
a
There's
little girl.
You get feelings about people, right? When you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking this is somebody to stay away from.
Mm-hmm.
And I did stay away from him.
Did he ever attack you?
No. But anyway.
Did you ever attack any children?
No. And the Brooks was living with the Davies boys because his dad allowed him to stay. Mm-hmm. Brooks did not have family in town that I knew of. He was just a kid that the father had taken in.
What is your address?
747.
Okay.
North 135th Street.
North 135th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seattle 98133, apartment 616.
98103?
98133.
133?
Yeah.
Apartment, what was that?
616.
616. Great, thank you. Now, what is your home phone, please?
206.
Okay.
906. 9585.
Okay.
And I'm going to need to make a phone call soon because either my wife is going to have to do my job or they're going to have to release me from here.
Okay. I'm sorry, where were you born? You were born in Belfast. Okay.
Yes.
And are you married now?
Yes.
Obviously you are. You have some college?
Yes.
Okay. How much sleep did you get last night?
I didn't sleep at all last night.
Really?
I worked nights.
Yeah. How much did you sleep today?
I probably slept 5 hours.
Okay. Is that your normal now?
No, I should be sleeping right now.
Okay. And was it a good sound sleep?
It was pretty good. Pretty good. I had to wake up a couple times.
Okay. How's your health?
I've had quadruple bypass.
When did you have that?
About 2 or 3 years ago. And I'm.
Would you say you're in fair condition now? You look like it. Your color's good and everything.
I'm 71. I'm very strong.
Okay.
I have the body of a 40-year-old, according to my doctor.
All right. Good deal. Well, it's almost like you got a brand new ticker, so.
Yes, I got new plumbing, is what the doctor said. And he said, I'll give you 40 years, and I said, I'll take it.
Okay, man, I'd like to have 40 years.
Yeah.
I hope I could just manage to hang on to the gray matter.
Yeah.
Have you ever had trouble with your nerves requiring medication?
Nerves, no.
Okay. Anxiety, anything like that?
No.
No? Depression?
No.
Okay. I just got to know. The only reason why I'm asking is because if it affects any of your parameters, I need to know how to rate it. Okay?
I am on a lot of pills, though. That's
we'll get to that
mainly because of my heart.
Okay. Have you ever been under the care of a psychiatrist?
No.
Okay. And have you ever been a patient in a mental hospital?
No.
So what was the matter with your heart? It was just basically clogged up?
Yeah.
Okay. Clogged arteries?
Yeah.
Okay. How's your blood pressure these days?
Still high, but not as long as I'm on my medication, it's fine.
Okay. Okay. How's your pulse? Anybody remark that it was too fast or too slow?
No.
Okay.
It's around 60.
Okay, good deal. That's good for a man.
Yeah, and as long as I'm on my meds, my blood pressure is
What kind of meds are you on?
12 pills.
Okay. Can you tell me what they are?
No. If I had my wallet, I could give you a list.
Where's your wallet?
At home.
Okay. So you've taken all your medications today?
I've taken them for today, yeah. I'll need them again in the morning.
And vast majority are for high blood pressure?
Yeah.
Anything else? What else are you taking it for?
Help me pee.
Okay. Prostate medication?
I don't know, whatever heart attack people have.
Okay. What else are you taking it for? Taking medications for?
Sleep.
Sleeping pills?
Yeah.
Okay. Ambien or something like that?
I don't remember.
Okay. What else?
I don't know. My wife takes care of my medications for me.
Yeah, but certainly when you go to the doctor, they tell you what's wrong with you, right? And why you got to take the meds.
So?
I need to know how to interpret your results.
They don't have to have list of pills. You can call my wife.
You don't know why you're taking medication?
You can call my wife.
Okay. What year did you take the FBI test?
So, the same year as 57.
1957, okay. And what happened during that test?
They let me go.
Did you pass?
Of course.
Did you fail or what?
Passed.
Okay. Do you have any kids?
I have one child now.
Okay. With your current wife or somebody else?
First wife.
First wife? How come you got custody? Did you get custody? Well, he's probably too old now.
He's like 45.
45?
Yeah.
Who had custody? You or her?
Her.
Okay.
But she's dead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Where'd she die at?
Old Big City. I don't know.
So why were you married 3 times?
Luck of the draw.
Were they divorces each and every time?
Yeah.
Were you guys just incompatible? One of you had a filthy foul temper? Somebody was abusive?
Next question.
Have you ever hit any of your wives?
No.
Have they ever hit you?
No. Well, one did, but that's neither here nor there.
You want me to formulate the questions for you, don't you, to try and help you?
Yeah. Well, what's this got to do with Maria?
It has plenty to do with whether you go through this test okay or not. I'm not asking just for a lark. You know, I'm asking you for a reason.
And I've got my rights, and I'm going to refuse to answer questions.
Let's see here. How tall are you now?
Between 5'10" and 5'11". I don't know yet.
Okay, how much you weigh?
210.
210? Oh, very good. Okay. And you said your son was 47?
I don't know how old he is. He was born in 67, I think.
Okay. Do you have much contact with him?
No.
How come?
He went to live with his mother, and she raised him to be a sissy.
How do you mean? Is he in touch with his feminine side?
He's a musician.
What's so sissy about that?
They're sissies, all of them are.
Is he married?
I don't know.
Would you know if he was?
Not unless he got married recently.
Has he ever been married?
No.
What kind of music does he play?
He's a music instructor. He plays classical guitar.
Wow, that's cool.
And jazz, mainly.
Good deal. What kind of music do you listen to?
I like jazz a lot.
Well, you gotta like his music, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the one. Yeah, he and I have a lot in common with that one. We hadn't seen each other for years, and we talked one day, and he said, "Well, who do you like?" And I told him all the people I like. Oh, those are people I like too. Really excited.
So, how come you guys haven't seen each other in a long time?
Well, ever since my daughter was murdered.
Oh my goodness gracious! Your daughter was murdered?
Yeah, she was hanging around with a drug dealer.
Was she ordered in film or no?
I don't know. This was all in Texas. And
was this by the first wife or second?
First wife.
Okay. So you had a boy and a girl.
Yeah. And so we just don't talk. He actually brought disaster to me. I had a business. We had a transportation company. My wife and I. And I hired him, and he had 2 accidents. One of them from smoking marijuana, and my insurance went so high I almost went out of business. So that was the beginning of our breakup.
Estrangement, wow. Yeah.
And he never even apologized or anything.
Okay. Did you have breakfast and lunch, dinner?
I'm a grazer. I eat
Okay. What time did you last eat?
Just before I was picked up.
And what time was it at?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Okay, so it's time of dinner. Okay.
Yeah.
You ever been arrested before?
No.
You been in trouble with the law before?
I had one problem with the law.
What happened?
Next question.
Oh, come on. You can tell me.
I'm glad you're my friend.
You think I'm going to tell these guys?
Yes.
Why would I do that? There's no bearing on this case.
Very good, then move on.
Come on. I need to be able to structure your test.
You don't need to do this. Next question.
Have you committed any crimes that you haven't been caught for?
No.
Then you shouldn't have any problems with the other question, right?
Yeah. Next question.
So you don't want to answer that question, even though it's the same as the other.
Doesn't matter. I have a right to not answer questions. I'm not answering that question.
Okay, suit yourself.
I am.
How badly do you want this test anyway?
If you will free me, I want it.
That's what we're trying to do.
Then get on with
Is
it.
help free you.
Yeah.
But I need you to answer the questions.
No, you're digging, and you don't need to dig back.
Why?
Because it's not your business.
It's my business to try to give you the best test possible.
Great. Get on with it.
I'm trying to.
No.
But you won't answer the question.
You're fishing, and I'm done with fishing.
So, have you ever been arrested?
No.
Okay. But you have committed crimes that you haven't been caught for, right?
Are we done here? We're trying to solve a murder.
That's right, we are.
Yes, we are.
I'm not asking these questions for love. If you tell me yes or no and tell me truthfully, I won't go any farther than that. Can you answer it truthfully? Yes or no, you've never committed a crime that you haven't been caught before.
Correct.
Yes or no?
Yes or no what? What's the question?
Have you ever committed a crime that you haven't been caught for?
No. If I haven't committed a crime, I haven't been caught for. I have never committed a crime I haven't been caught for.
Yes or no?
I answered your question.
That's how I'm going to ask it. You cannot answer it like that. It's going to be yes or no.
I can't. What is a yes or no answer? Yes what? What does yes mean? Yes means
So
I've
you're
committed.
saying yes, you have committed.
No. I said, what does yes mean? I'm asking the question.
Hold on. Well, let's finish taking this thing out. Unless you are taking medication. You don't know when it is. What time do you take your meds? This morning?
I took them about 5 o'clock.
Okay. Have you had much illegal drug use in your life?
No.
Do you use illegal drugs now?
No.
Okay. Have you had any alcohol in the last 24 hours?
Sobering.
Any recent consultations with shrinks?
Told you that already. No.
Come on, don't get mad at me.
Okay.
Why are you getting mad at the messenger? Come on.
I am not a psychotic. I have had no contact at all, ever, with a
That's
shrink.
fine. I'm just filling out this
All right,
form.
okay, you got your answer.
I gotta ask the questions. Are you experiencing any heart or breathing problems right now?
No.
Okay. Any other conditions that you want to discuss other than heart problems? Is there anything else that could affect your test?
No.
Okay. You've been hospitalized in the last 2 years?
Yes.
Okay. When you had your heart bypass, did you get hospitalized again after that?
No, but I spent an awful lot of time in the doctor's office. So.
I know. Drag. So you were a hospital patient, okay. You probably had a recent medical exam, right?
Yes.
Okay. Was it this year?
Yes.
This year? Okay.
I have them every week almost.
That's a joke. But you think you're in good condition now, or excellent condition?
I'm in better condition than anybody my age.
Okay. So you're in excellent condition for your age.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
I'm in excellent condition for a lot of ages.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. All right. Here come the questions. Now, Jack, I'm not going to use your middle initial on this, okay? Okay, we're going to review the questions now, and you're going to tell me yes or no. I'll just finish typing first here. Yes. You said you're 71? You said you're 71? Okay.
What's your last name?
Lau.
Yeah.
Do you go to church at all?
No.
No. Did you grow up with any kind of, well, you're Catholic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You left the church?
Yeah.
How come?
We couldn't answer the questions. Probably 17. I probably was about 17. I got it.
Have you ever had sex with an underage girl?
Not to my knowledge.
So nobody under the age of 18?
Not to my knowledge.
Not your sisters? Not young girls? Nobody?
How many times do I have to say it? Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So I take that as a no. You're going to
Correct.
say no. Okay. Okay. Any other questions, sir? Okay. Is your correct name Jack McCullough?
It is.
Yes or no? All please.
Yes.
Okay. Do you intend to answer all of my questions truthfully?
Well, I intend to answer questions truthfully. Maybe not all.
I need a yes or no.
No.
So you are not going to answer all my questions truthfully?
Read my rights again. If you ask a question I don't want to answer, you're not going to get an answer.
Look, when I type this into the computer, I can't deviate, so you're going to know exactly what I'm going to ask you. If you have any questions about it now, go ahead and raise them. But just hear me out. Just listen to the questions first, okay, before you start objecting. Okay? Do you intend to answer all of my questions truthfully?
Okay?
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you born in Belfast?
Yes.
Are you hoping I will make a mistake on this test?
No.
What is 3 plus 3 minus 2?
4.
Okay, don't say just give me one word response, okay? Have you taken any drugs, alcohol?
No.
Let me finish reading the question. Okay?
All right.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication you haven't told me about?
No.
Are you planning to try to manipulate this test?
No.
Have you researched any information about Polygraph before coming here today?
No.
Okay. I have a set of test questions I'm only going to ask you once, okay? But I won't go by nearly as fast as I just read it, because after every question I'm going to wait for a certain amount of time to elapse to chart your reactions. Okay. A set of test questions regarding whether or not you killed Maria on December 3rd, 1957. Do you intend to answer truthfully each question about that?
Absolutely.
Yes or
yes.
no? Okay. Did you kill Maria?
No.
Let me finish reading the question.
All right, so.
Did you kill Maria on December 3rd, 1957? And when I say kill Maria, that includes everything that went into this thing.
I love Maria. I would not kill her.
The abduction, the sexual assault, the taking her away from that area, discarding her body.
Go ahead. I'm good for it.
That's what it covers.
Yeah.
Okay? You understand that?
Finally.
Okay. So I'll ask you again, did you kill Maria on December 3rd, 1957?
No.
With all the things that it entails?
Correct.
Abducting her, dumping her body, sexually assaulting her, killing her?
No.
Okay. On December 3rd, 1957, did you kill Maria?
No.
During the first 30 years of your life, do you remember ever having sexual contact with your sisters? And that means fondling, kissing, rubbing, penetration of any kind, whether it's digital or with your penis.
I'm not going to answer that question.
Why not?
It's none of your business, and it has nothing to do with Maria.
It does.
It doesn't.
It does.
Sorry.
During the first 68 years of your life, do you remember ever committing a crime you were never caught for?
No.
Okay. So then I'm asking you, during the first 30 years of your life, do you remember ever having sexual contact with your sisters?
Next question.
Okay. Well, we can't give you the test.
Okay, good. We're done.
Okay. You